CEO's paralyzed daughter, sat alone at her graduation until a single dad walked over. The school gym buzzed with excitement, balloons bobbed against the ceiling, laughter echoed off the walls, and proud parents jostled to snap photos. Among them, everyone was celebrating achievement and joy. Everyone, that is, except for one small figure. Clara, 16, sat alone in her wheelchair at the corner of the gym. Her long brown hair fell over the front of her sequined graduation gown, her fingers fidgeting nervously on her lap. She watched her classmates cheer and toss their caps into the air. Clara's father, a high-powered CEO who spent most of his life in boardrooms and on business trips, had promised he'd come, but he was caught in yet another last-minute meeting. She felt invisible in a room full of celebration. Across the gym, John, a single dad in his late 30s, watched the festivities with a quiet smile. He wasn't there for applause or recognition. He had been volunteering at the school party to help serve snacks and clean tables. Life had been a relentless struggle for him, raising his young son alone, juggling 2 jobs, and yet he had a warmth in his eyes that drew people in. John noticed Clara almost immediately. She was the only one sitting alone, her gaze fixed on the commotion without really being part of it. Something in her posture, the slight slump of her shoulders, the frown that tugged at her lips, made him pause. He wiped his hands on his apron and walked over. "Hi there," he said gently. Clara looked up, startled. Hi," she murmured. "I'm John," he said, kneeling slightly to meet her eye level. "Mind if I sit?" Clara shook her head, unsure. Most people either ignored her or stared awkwardly at her wheelchair, but John didn't. He simply pulled up a chair and smiled. For the next few minutes they talked, about music, about favorite movies, and the weirdest thing about graduating in masks and gowns. John listened without judgment, his presence calm and genuine. Slowly, Clara's laughter emerged, soft at first, then growing. It was a sound that hadn't been around much lately in the emptiness of her father's absence. Then, just as the DJ began playing the graduation anthem, Clara's eyes widened. I've always wanted to dance at graduation," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. John grinned. "Then let's make it happen." He gently helped maneuver her wheelchair onto the gym floor. John, steady and kind, guided her through simple turns, letting the music flow through the two of them. Laughter and applause broke out around them. Other students joined in, cheering for Clara. For the first time that day, she felt included. She wasn't just a CEO's daughter in a chair. She was Clara, smiling, twirling, and alive in the moment. Suddenly, a tall man rushed into the gym, Clara's father. His expensive suit and sharp gaze made him easy to spot, but the guilt on his face was unmistakable. He had missed everything until now, and he realized how much his absence had hurt his daughter. Seeing John there, dancing with Clara, something inside him shifted. He watched quietly as his daughter laughed without restraint, a side of her he rarely saw. And then, without a word, he approached, not to intervene, not to show authority, but just to stand beside them. Clara caught her father's eye and beamed. For the first time, she didn't feel lonely. The room around her seemed brighter. She realized that sometimes family isn't just about blood. It's about those who show up, who care, and who choose to be present when it matters most. By the end of the party, John had quietly returned to his volunteer duties, leaving Clara surrounded by classmates and her finally present father. But she never forgot the single dad who walked over when no one else did. That simple act of kindness had transformed her graduation from a lonely moment into a memory that would carry warmth for years to come. As she left the gym, Clara whispered to herself, "Kindness, it's the real celebration." Themes and takeaways. Small acts of kindness can transform lonely or painful moments. Presence and empathy often mean more than wealth or status. Genuine connection can bridge divides between strangers, families, and communities. Clara felt the rhythm of the music flow through her for the first time in months. She laughed freely as John guided her wheelchair across the gym floor, twirling gently to the beat. Around them, students clapped and cheered, creating a bubble of joy that seemed to make the rest of the world disappear. Her father finally reached the edge of the gym, breathless and flustered. Seeing Clara so happy, he froze for a moment, guilt washing over him. He realized that no boardroom victory or business deal could ever replace the simple gift of presence, of being there for his daughter. John noticed the man and offered a small nod. Clara's father approached slowly, uncertain, his expensive shoes echoing against the polished wood. Clara, sensing his hesitation, waved him over with a bright, encouraging smile. "Dad, come join us," she said, her voice steady and full of warmth. Her father's eyes softened. For the first time, he wasn't thinking about schedules or obligations. He was thinking about her. Gently, he crouched beside her, resting a hand on her wheelchair. The three of them moved in harmony for a moment, a perfect little trio amidst the chaos of the party. "Thank you," Clara whispered to John, her eyes shining. I really needed this." John smiled, shrugging modestly. "You didn't need thanks. You just needed someone to show up. That's all any of us ever need sometimes." Her father looked at him, a hint of respect and gratitude crossing his face. "I can see that," he admitted quietly. I should have been here sooner." Clara reached out and took her father's hand, feeling a sense of completeness she hadn't felt in a long time. "It's okay," she said. "You're here now, and that's what matters." D2. DJ switched the track, and the crowd erupted in applause as Clara, John, and her father shared a moment of pure connection. Students cheered, classmates clapped, and Clara's laughter rang out above all else.